Now, Goodell back on the stand. These picks are coming in quickly.
Stingley.
Okay. Derek Stingley. All right, we've got our first surprise. That's a pretty big surprise, I think.
I thought Sauce here. So Stingley actually, thinking of guys that had risen really late, Stingley, there's been a lot of talk about him recently. His 2021 tape is average. He was hurt a lot, but then they go back and they look at the 2020 tape, and he was absolutely elite. So teams are kind of thinking of that's potentially what I'm getting is the 2020 version, and his measurables were very good. I think he ran a 4.38 from memory.
Yes, so unofficial time I think there is 4.37, and then the official time 4.44 is what I've got from our notes. He tore a ligament in his foot and missed 3 games last year at LSU. So interesting that you brought up, the scouts obviously going over that tape from 2020 and not saying that he was bad by any means last year, just missed that little bit of time and possibly his 2020 year was better. He was first in the SEC team selection. Probably the first surprise here. Now, we were talking before the show about what do the Texans do here, because even outside of, the Jags and the Lions that have drafted before them, their draft needs essentially are the whole team. There's nowhere where you go outside of Laramie Tunsil, who is an elite talent in the NFL.
Yep.
There's no one really on that Texans side where you say, oh, this is an elite, top 20, top 30 guy in the NFL.
I think I had for needs for them was like, whether you're happy with Mills, you potentially need a quarterback. Probably need running backs because they had 1,000 last year. Then they had, Cooks is probably the only wide receiver. Tight ends, tight end's not going to go this side. Inside offensive lineman I thought might be an issue. And then I've just got defense.
The whole defense.
Anything on defense. So I thought Sauce probably made sense. He had a excellent tape this year. He's had ridiculous numbers, great length, not as quick as Stingley, but also still elite speed, I think. It's a 4.41. Like we're talking 0.04 of a second difference in speed. So the
big difference, I suppose, is the size.
I think Jets will take Sauce now and be really, really happy if that's the case, because they could add a corner. They definitely needed a corner on theirs. I think for them, I also said probably right tackle, outside linebacker. Otherwise, it was secondary. So hey, add an elite corner like Sauce, they'd be happy. And then I think they'd come back at where they're picking. They're picking 9? Yeah. 10. Come back at 10 and get a wide receiver.
New York.
Because we didn't talk about there's still Debo trade potentially going to happen.
Yes.
The Giants want to trade wide receivers, so they're available. There's a chat about Darren Waller to the Packers during the week. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I think that was a big old rumor. You were talking about getting a bit of a Nick Chubb before about Russell Wilson. When I heard that news come through, geez, I had a Nick Chubb coming through, for potentially, consensus top 2 tight end in the league, I would say, in Waller the Baller. Derek Carr came out and said absolutely no chance that is happening. I think maybe more myth than news. Shout out there to Mr. Lachlan, $3. That goes a long way. These beers are about $2 each, so a beer and a half. Thank you very much, Mr. Lachlan. We appreciate the support. Now, the other thing that we were thinking about at the Texans is would they take one of these elite offensive linemen in Evan Neal and Ike Ekwonu? They're both still available. So they were both projected as top 5 talents. Do we see the Jets pick up one of them?
So I know the Jets, they did take a tackle, which was more right tackle last year as a first-round pick, and I think they did load up on a bit of other offensive line talent. But essentially they could go an elite left tackle in Neal. Of course, they've got Wilson there. They need to protect him. They could potentially take the first wide receiver here. But
who would you think that? But do you think Olave will go first?
No, I think Wilson's the chat to go first. My favourite is Williams from Alabama.
Jameson coming off the ACL.
If he hadn't had the ACL, he would be the top wide receiver in this class.
Yeah, agreed. And everyone that I was listening to was saying, if not for that ACL, which was late last year as well.
But they have pick 10. So I'm going to say, like, I think pick 10 makes more sense for what you probably still, Wilson may be gone, but you might have London still there.
Yeah, out of
probably
USC.
still going to have a shot at Williams. So I think you either go, like you said, and one of those elite 2 offensive linemen, or you take the Sauce. He's available. Like, I don't see Kyle Hamilton, I think, is going to slide. I don't think anyone will take the safety in the top 10. His 40 numbers weren't great recently, especially at the Pro Day. So I think he's actually going to slide from all the mock drafts we've seen. If it's not Sauce, I'd be surprised. But they could go another edge rusher. There could be a run on edge rushers here.
Kayvon Thibodeau comes to mind. Projected to be top 10, possibly top 5.
Thibodeau was one. Johnson was another one.
Jermaine Johnson. He's an interesting story, isn't he?
Transferred from Georgia, he was on that list.
And even before then, fans of Last Chance U, I remember watching him at Independence, the Pirates. Shout out to the Pirates. An absolute jerkwad of a coach on that show. I don't know how much he put it up for, being on Netflix, or if that just is him. He's a pretty good actor if it was just for show. But yeah, an interesting story about a guy that went to 3 collegiate institutions and then really had his breakout year last year at Florida State. I think it's a little bit too early for us to see Jermaine Johnson. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is slightly more proven out of Oregon, who strung together and had the production at Oregon.
Oh, big time production. You definitely see him as elite talent there. He was the 2019 high school recruit class. He was number 1, so he was the biggest recruit in the country. And you see he's got a prototypical body. If you're looking for an outside linebacker to play in like the Raven system, he fits that mold exactly. So we'll have to see what Jets do. I would lean towards Sauce,
you like
unless
Sauce?
If they don't pick Sauce here, then maybe there might be questions on his medical, and maybe he slides, because of course we don't have all that inside medical information. We'll have to see what happens. So
the pick is in. Goodell is on the stand. The 4th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft. Well done, Sean.
Is the Sauce
Ahmad Gardner, a.k.a. Sauce Gardner.
I love the sauce bottle chain, by the way. We're going to throw that
He's got that sauce bottle chain. Does anyone know the background or the nickname Sauce? I might look that up.
I think it comes from like his hot sauce. So last year didn't allow a single reception in the red zone. Has an unreal grades across all his targets. You put on the tape of Sauce and it is boring, because no one throws the ball in his direction.
You want boring is good in terms of shut down corners. You got that Champ Bailey jersey on now.
The champ is here.
The champ is here.
Sauce getting a bit lost, of course, trying to get to the podium, but we'll get there.
There were years where watching Champ film was boring because he was such a shutdown corner. Revis the same. Revis Island. So can
they might have 30
Sauce
pass
Gardner be that guy? Didn't give up a touchdown reception in his whole college career.
Yep.
A big part of why the Cincinnati Bearcats went to the Final Four. A team that we're not really used to going that deep. And a lot of that was, I think the best cornerback in this draft being Sauce Gardner, he'll be a New York Jet.
I absolutely love that for the Jets, by the way. I think that's an excellent pick. We'll have to see what that turns into, because I think he's going to be an elite talent. It's hard to evaluate some of his tape because, of course, no one's throwing the ball at him. So, but he's already got that respect in college. So if he's got that respect where quarterbacks are like, let's ignore that whole side of the field. We're going over here to try and get it. It's like, Plus the size, he's Richard Seymour sort of size with extra speed. It's crazy.
Richard Sherman.
Sorry.
Yeah, Richard Seymour. I was thinking that'd be a big corner, sorry. There. No, you're right. He's 6'3".
I've been thinking about defensive ends all day.
Well, we've seen 2 defensive ends and 2 corners go 3 and 4.
I've been thinking about 5 techniques and Richard Seymour being the best one. The comparison with Patriots. Yeah, that was my nighttime dreams last night.
Mate, I made a joke about it before. This bloke has dead set just been sitting down and watching tape after tape after tape. There's 100,000 notes in front of him. How anything's actually coming out of your mouth and sounding good is a surprise because it's a testament.
Same here.
It's a testament to how much study that you actually do.
Look at the Jets fans.
The Jets are happy with that. I'd be happy with that. Look how many people there. MetLife Stadium. Is that looks like it's MetLife? I think the Jets.
Are they sharing it with the Giants? Yeah,
I don't know.
Looks like it. There's a few of them.
I can see a Giants cap getting thrown up there. So they are ecstatic there, the Jets fans. Very happy to get Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I've had a look here. How did Sauce Gardner get his name? You essentially were on the money. Had the nickname since he was 6 years old. Jess claims it's due to his athletic ability. Came from his athletic ability on the field. That's how it came up. Hot sauce, I guess.
Hot sauce, yeah. Well, he's got the hot sauce bottle chain with the big sauce chain as well. Get that trademarked ASAP and start that brand, brother, because, I hope for Jets fans. I really like what Jets did last year. There had been some chat with Elijah Moore being in a potential trade with the 10 pick for Debo. Of course, that's still potentially could go down here in the next hour. Or, you still got 10, you can pick a elite wide receiver. Then they'll have really good receiver class over there. You got Wilson. They've added offensive line talent, and they're now adding to the defense. I'm hoping the Jets can get to maybe 5 wins this year.
You say all these nice things about them and then you slap them with that. I think
they're still the Jets.
Well, the NFL wants a strong they want a strong Jets, they want a strong Giants.
They want a strong, New York.
Because it's such a big market.
They're picking 4 times in the top 10.
And that's the NFL will be licking their lips because they need some strength coming out of the biggest city in the United States. Because over the last 8 years or so, we've seen them both really suffer. Obviously, the Giants winning those 2 Super Bowls in the Eli Manning era, they've had a bit of success. But, we've mentioned before that 2009-2010 Jets team, that was pretty good. Outside of that, the whole time that me and you have followed American football, the Jets have been pretty stinky.
Yeah.
So,
since the turn of the century, yeah.
Yeah, so the NFL would really want a strong New York teams in the Jets and the Giants.